the game-winning 49-yard field goal with seconds left. So the unique NFL record will stand with the Ravens at 24 straight preseason wins. It's been labeled meaningless because the wins and losses in preseason, well, they don't matter. The Commanders called the record stupid. John Harbaugh doesn't play starters. They don't scheme up a game plan for opponents in the preseason. Really, these games are just about building the roster. Snaps do matter. Players win and lose jobs in the preseason, missing out on thousands, if not millions of dollars and their dreams. The players that set this record, most are out of the league, and that happened for a lot of them in the preseason.
You know, you're proud of it, of course, you appreciate it, but the thing that you're proud of is all those games are mostly just like that because of the effort these guys put into it. That's what you're proud of. That's why I'm so proud of these guys for the way they fought. It doesn't matter win or loss. It matters the way they went about their business tonight, and I'm proud of them for that. Always will be.
Wins and losses don't matter in the preseason for teams, but for individuals, winning and losing performances sure do. The Ravens had some good ones. Rookie Zay Flowers' first touchdown. Bubble wide receiver Tylan Wallace probably just beat out James Prochet. Justice Hill and Keaton Mitchell have been the best running backs all of camp. And reserve depth at tight end and in the secondary made big plays last night. Roster battles will get one more chance with the Ravens' final preseason game this Saturday at Tampa Bay. Roster cuts are down to 53 next Tuesday. And then the 16-player practice squad will be finalized the following day.
All right, here we go. Taking a look at your weekend forecast in detail. On Friday, could see a spot shower storm. That's going to be a hot day in the 90s. Now, on Saturday, there could be a spot shower potentially in the afternoon. A cold front's going to continue to swing on through, and that's going to leave us with a really nice day on Sunday. Staying local, there's your hot day Friday, Saturday, Sunday, dropping through the 80s. There's that spot shower storm Saturday afternoon. Same deal down the ocean, except subtract about 5 to 10 degrees. PM shower, maybe a storm Saturday. Looking great Sunday. Water temperature, low 70s.
Jonathan, thank you. Coming up on Fox 45 News at 6 o'clock tonight, Governor Wes Moore sits down for an interview with political commentator Armstrong Williams. The questions facing the governor tonight. Also, 9 businesses left burglarized in Greektown. Why some residents say they're worried about the future of their town.
A teen shot while trying to carjack an off-duty officer at gunpoint. Fox 45 presses police on what's being done to slow the rise of carjackings and auto thefts. Governor Moore sitting down right now with political commentator Armstrong Williams. The questions facing the governor on an uptick in juvenile crime. 9 Greektown businesses burglarized overnight. The police from residents on what needs to change in the city.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 6.
Well, Baltimore police confirm an off-duty officer shot a teen who was attempting to carjack him at gunpoint in northeast Baltimore. The case adds to the alarming number of auto thefts and carjackings happening across the city, many of them committed by juveniles. Good evening, everybody. I'm Mary Bubala. Thank you for staying with us tonight. Let's go to Fox 45's Alexa Ashwell, who's questioning police tonight on what's being done to address this issue.
Auto thefts and carjackings are happening every day across Baltimore. Several cases happening just in the past 24 hours, including right here in Fells Point. And in some cases, they're being committed by juveniles.
In Baltimore,
an auto theft for 138 South Curly Street.
a car is stolen every hour, and at least one carjacking is committed every day, according to statistics posted by Baltimore police. And many of these crimes are being committed by juveniles. Just yesterday, Baltimore police confirmed an off-duty police officer shot a 15-year-old who was attempting to carjack him at gunpoint in a neighborhood in northeast Baltimore. Investigators say the teen later confessed to the crime and detailed the getaway car he used had also been reported stolen in the city.
The general reason why cars are stolen nowadays or carjacked is to provide a vehicle to commit other crimes. And by and large, those crimes are being committed by juveniles, some as young as 12, 13 years old. They acquire a vehicle, whether it's by force, which is a carjacking, or just they see a car running or they're otherwise able to get a car started that's not theirs, and then they use it to commit other crimes, including robberies, carjackings, and other thefts.
Former BPD Deputy Commissioner Jason Johnson weighing in on the troubling spike in auto thefts, a more than 200% increase compared to this time last year. At least 5,895 auto thefts as of 3 weeks ago. That translates to more than 24 cars stolen in the city each day. And while carjackings have gone down, at least 289 have been reported so far this year. Most recently, police confirm a Jeep was stolen in an armed carjacking on South Luzerne in Canton around 8 this morning.
I think if there were better means of accountability and there were more consistently applied accountability, we would see the numbers go down.
But concern, fear, and frustration only rising. Some of these armed robberies, auto thefts, and carjackings are leading to shootings and even homicides, like the shooting death of Daryl Benner, killed just steps from his home in Canton by suspects who police say were stealing his nephew's car.
He did take his final breath laying in my lap.
This surveillance video capturing that armed robbery that led to the homicide. The suspects still in the loose. Fox 45 News questioning police, asking what is BPD doing to address this alarming number of auto thefts and/or carjackings.
My frustration stands really high with Brandon Scott.
Baltimore police not directly answering our question. A spokesperson did say they're looking into a possible connection with the recent violence. But again, aside from the 15-year-old, no arrests have been made. Reporting in Fells Point, Alexa Ashwell, Fox 45 News.
Well, yesterday, Fox 45 News questioned Mayor Scott on crime being fueled by young people. This is what he said when we asked him about whether he'd push for stiffer penalties for young offenders.
As I said, the system needs to be built from its entirety, right? I know that a lot of folks want to pigeonhole this into be about tougher sentences, but it's also about how about we do the basic things right.
Governor Wes Moore is sitting down with political commentator Armstrong Williams right now. A big topic of that interview, juvenile crime. The main question for the governor will be what's his next step in terms of curbing juvenile crime. Does the Department of Juvenile Services need to be rebuilt? What will that entail? And what does he want to see lawmakers tackle during the next session? The town hall started about 30 minutes ago. The governor also addressing the struggling Baltimore City public school system.
And so there has to be a greater level of accountability and a greater level of transparency, because that's going to produce a greater result, which is what we all are aiming for and what we all hope for.
Well, stay with us. Mackenzie Frost will have a wrap-up of the interview coming up on Fox 45 tonight at 10. You can watch Armstrong's full conversation with the governor this Saturday on MyTV Baltimore at 3 and later that day on the CW at 6. Then on Sunday, it will air right here on Fox 45 at 2 p.m.
I want them to see what we're going through. Pay attention to the Greektown, because the Greektown is going to be gone.
A rash of burglaries in Baltimore's Greektown neighborhood. Baltimore police say at least 9 businesses were targeted by criminals. Fox 45's Amy Simpson has the latest on the investigations.
Baltimore police say detectives are now looking into whether those burglaries might be connected. Meanwhile, some today in the Greektown community expressing frustration about a city plagued by crime. In East Baltimore today, disbelief.
I don't know why they're there.
And frustration.
This place here, I'm sorry to say, but they go to hell.
Several businesses in this block of Eastern Ave.
This is a Greektown.
Among at least 9 businesses burglarized overnight. Today, a missing window pane, remnants of shattered glass, another restaurant boarded up. Baltimore police said the crimes were reported between 1:30 and 5 a.m. The criminals reportedly stealing cash from most of the places they hit.
The mess. That's what I see. I don't see nothing else. And the owners, they're looking. Who did it? How are you going to find 3 o'clock in the morning? 3 o'clock in the morning, everybody's sleeping. Look what's happened. They broke his door.
These men both live just across the city-county line, but say they've been coming here to Greektown for years for a social club to play cards or watch sports.
We drink Greek coffee, we talk about the Greeks here.
And while they're not currently city voters,
when the election coming, they know the Greeks.
This man feels like the politicians only come around so often, making campaign promises.
We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. After that, nothing.
Now pointing to a city he's watched change over the years.
Every day you hear him, if you open the TV to listen to the news, you hear him 3 or 4 people dead. Every teenager now they have gun in his hand.
Worried about what it could mean for a neighborhood he loves.
If they continue to do this, the Greektown is gonna be gone.
Fearing whoever committed these crimes might not face consequences.
Because even if they caught him, wherever there is, the next day be out.
Police say there were no injuries and so far no arrests. The only possible suspect description today, males wearing dark clothes and masks. At police headquarters, Amy Simpson, Fox 45 News.
The Baltimore City Council will hold a confirmation hearing for acting police commissioner Richard Worley next month. It comes as Worley continues a series of community meetings with Baltimore residents, and that continues tonight. It comes a week after the first in-person community meeting in Park Heights a week ago. Mayor Scott calling the meetings an opportunity to talk about how to best build a safer Baltimore and to hear from residents about what they want to see from the city's police commissioner. In Park Heights last Monday, residents stepped up to the mic with their concerns, ranging from police brutality to residency.
We need more officers to actually live in the city to help pay some of these taxes that is all of us affected by.
How are corrupt, rogue police officers going to be handled?
We are a totally different department. We basically do not want to have any bad cops.
Well, tonight's meeting just kicked off a couple of minutes ago. Fox 45's Keith Daniels is there. He'll bring us a full report tonight on Fox 45 News at 10. A man's motorized scooter was stolen just after midnight in Anne Arundel County. It happened on Cross Street in Brooklyn. Police say the victim was riding a scooter when he was pursued by a black Hyundai sedan. According to police, the driver of the sedan rammed the back of the scooter, knocking the victim to the ground. 2 of the people inside the car got out, hopped onto the scooter, and fled the scene. The victim is expected to be okay. Police say the suspects were 3 males wearing all black clothing and wearing black face masks. Anybody with information is asked to call police.
There's a legal victory tonight for those pushing for transparency after decades of abuse inside the Archdiocese of Baltimore. A Baltimore judge today ordered redactions be lifted in a report of abuse inside the Catholic Church. Now, early this year, the Maryland Attorney General released a 456-page investigation. It listed 158 clergy, teachers, and deacons who allegedly assaulted more than 600 children for decades. That investigation going all the way back to the 1940s, in fact. The names of about 40 people were redacted. The court is now ordering those names to come to light, with the exception of 3 individuals. Now, in response to that decision, the survivor group SNAP issued a statement saying while they are happy more names will be released, they're disappointed with comments made by the judge. One of the survivors, David Lorenz, says he's appalled by the judge's statement that the names are being released to show the abuse was not the result of anything the Archdiocese did or did not do, rather a result of individuals' actions. Lorenz says the AG's report clearly showed the abuse was the result of systematic failures from the Archdiocese and is calling for all of those names to be released. Now, according to the ruling, the report with the new names can be released after September 26th. Mary?
Kai, thank you. Trump's co-defendants in the 2020 election interference case in Georgia starting to turn themselves in. Who surrendered today and what we can expect the former president to do?
Could you fall victim to an AI scam? I'm Atrel Nashar with warnings from experts about how this technology can access your private data.
And here at Fox 45, we are your back to school headquarters. Just a week or two until the kids are going back to school, but we still have some more summertime type temperatures on the way. I'll let you know when we make it to the mid-90s again. My Weather Authority forecast.
Making headlines tonight, 2 of former President Donald Trump's co-defendants in the Georgia election case have turned themselves in. Scott Hall, who's accused of helping to illegally breach election equipment, and John Eastman, Trump's former lawyer, have turned themselves in. Trump and other co-defendants have until Friday to surrender under a deadline from the Fulton County District Attorney. Trump announced yesterday he plans to surrender on Thursday. His bond has already been set at $200,000. It'll mark his 4th fourth arrest since April. Well, far too often people fall for scams, often through email, text, phone calls, but the FBI has issued warnings about an emerging threat of artificial intelligence being deployed to defraud innocent people. National correspondent Atra El-Nashar joins us live from Capitol Hill with a closer look for this. And Atra, this is so scary for so many people.
Right. The examples you're about to see, you could think, wow, this could happen to me or somebody I love. But, you know, pretty much every week we're learning about new ways that AI is innovating our lives. But it seems almost as often we're getting real life examples of its dangers.
Earlier this year, people across the country were shocked by what happened to Jennifer DiStefano on the afternoon of January 20th.
At about 4:53 p.m., I received a call from an unknown number.
She picked up. It sounded like her daughter, Bree, on the other end.
Mom, these bad men have me. Help me, help me, help me.
Fortunately, Bree was actually home, safe. Authorities told DiStefano they had seen this before, an extortion scam that used AI to replicate her daughter's voice. Patrick Hall, an assistant professor at George Washington University who's worked with AI companies on risk, says many of them are taking steps to address the potential for scams, but there's a fundamental predicament.
These technologies are two sides of the same coin. They make convincing content, which can be used for, good and helpful purposes or for malicious purposes.
Researchers in the UK recently studied how one method of AI called deep learning can be used to gather a user's private information, like passwords, by listening to how they use a keyboard. They found when the AI processed acoustics of keystrokes recorded on a nearby phone, it had 95% accuracy of what was being typed. The researchers point out people will regularly hide their screen, but will do little to obfuscate their keyboard sound. Hall says he'd take this with a grain of salt.
I'd like to see sort of independent replication before I really get panicked about it.
Now, the FBI says it's a good idea to frequently run an online search of yourself so you can sort of gauge your exposure and see how much of your personal information, Mary, is already out there.
Keyboard sound. Atra, that is just too much to think about. Are there ideas of what companies behind this technology can do to actually make their products safer?
Yeah, there is a whole host of proposals. Frankly, we see a lot of lawmakers on Capitol Hill try and struggle and rush just to understand and wrap their heads around this technology, let alone regulate it. But one idea that's gotten a lot of traction lately from both sides of the aisle is mandatory watermarking on audio, video, texts, images, so that people know when something was made by AI and not a human. Now, of course, regulating that would be an entirely different battle, a whole can of worms, perhaps First Amendment implications there. But, if something like that were in place for that mom out of Arizona, maybe she would have avoided that traumatic experience.
Exactly. And thank goodness her daughter was home that day so she didn't fall for it. Atra El-Nashar live in D.C. for us tonight. Thank you.
Thanks.
Fox Triplecast this evening showing some gorgeous sunshine on the Mile 1 Townsicam and the Toyota East Utah Harbor Skycam. Taking a close-up look there at the new park over by the Maryland Science Center. And the HD radar has signs of our next weather maker over northern Michigan, and that could impact us by tomorrow night into Thursday. So currently 83 degrees, beautiful. Eastport Yacht Club looking great. Winds out of the north at 6 miles an hour. Got their camera network plugged into our weather system. Humidity 37% right now, and feels like temperature actually cooler than it actually is outside because of the lower humidity level. So your body can really cool off real efficiently if you're taking a nice run this evening. And that's going to go for tomorrow as well, low humidity levels. But signs of change off to the north, showers, thunderstorms right here around Marquette, Michigan. Could even have some severe weather around Detroit into tonight and tomorrow. Eventually that rain will move south and east into the nice, beautiful weather we're enjoying. Fair weather high pressure out of Canada giving us some of this nice conditions. And it looks like that's going to stay for tonight and tomorrow. But then some of that severe weather that's going to hit Michigan could come at us as maybe not severe weather, but some scattered rain and a thunderstorm on into the day on Thursday. Then humid heat builds in. There's even some tropical weather over Texas. That's Harold spinning around, giving some needed rains to the Rio Grande Valley. But for us, again, the heat initially is going to build eastbound. Lots of advisories, warnings, watches for heat over the central portion of the country. Just been a really awful summer for these folks. Continues to look like for tomorrow, move close by. And then Thursday we get into the heat before it quickly gets out of here by the end of the weekend, or rather into later Friday and Saturday, Sunday. You'll see some changes. Now in the tropics, there's several chances of development. Excuse me, does not look like any of these will have any impacts on us, though, staying out in the open Atlantic. Now there is Franklin. That will impact Hispaniola in the next 36 hours. So Dominican Republic could get some heavy rain. Does not look like it's particularly strong, though, as it makes an impact on those island areas and then moves north of the Antilles, maybe toward Bermuda eventually later on towards the weekend next week. So future scan overnight into early tomorrow morning. Beautiful, near 60. A few extra clouds for tomorrow. Notice that rain tries to move in from Pennsylvania. I don't think it's going to make much inroads with the dry weather, but maybe some showers and a thunderstorm for Thursday. We're going to let you know how long that's going to last in my exclusive 10-day forecast.
Jonathan, thank you. Survivors of the Maui wildfires growing critical of the federal government's response to the fires. Why some are not happy with the president's recent visit. In tonight's Assignment America, survivors of the Maui wildfires growing critical of the government's response as the extent of the damage comes into focus. National correspondent Kayla Gaskins has the latest on how the president's visit was received.
It wasn't exactly a warm welcome when President Biden touched down in Maui Monday. Some frustrated it took him weeks to visit the devastated island after he repeatedly declined to comment on the disaster for 5 days last week.
Wow, he's finally here. Yeah, thanks for nothing.
In a missed attempt to connect with survivors, Biden comparing his own small kitchen fire to what is now the deadliest U.S. wildfire in more than a century.
We have a little sense, Jill and I, what it's like to lose a home. Lightning struck at home. I almost lost my wife, my 67 Corvette, and my cat.
Biden, not the first president to come under fire for a slow response to a natural disaster. George W. Bush faced similar scrutiny following Hurricane Katrina